Hello everyone, so I am back with the second video of the video series on Simple Equations Class 7 Maths. This is Roshni from LearnerHub, the free learning platform where you get to learn anything about maths and science absolutely for free at learnerhub.com. And in today's video, our agenda is to solve a simple equation. In fact, I'll also share some tips that will help you to solve a simple equation. So what are we waiting for? Let's get started. So now that we learned how do we set up equations, it's time that we start solving them as well, because only when we solve equations, we are actually able to solve the problems. So how do we solve these equations? Now, whenever we talk about solving an equation, we mean we are going to find the values of the variables such that left hand side is equal to right hand side. So only then we call them the solutions for that equation. So let us take an example. So let us take this example. So let's say that we have an equation 3x plus 1 is equal to 7. Now if I ask you to solve this equation, that means what you need to do, you have to find out that value of x for which left hand side is going to be equal to right hand side. So let us try different values of x. Let us say we put x is equal to 0. So what will happen? What would be left hand side? Left hand side would be 3 into 0 plus 1, which is equal to 1. So is left hand side equal to our right hand side? Because right hand side is equal to 7. So 1 and 7 are equal? No. So that means x is equal to 0 is not the solution. Okay. Now let's try it with x equal to 1. So what would be our left hand side? It would be 3 into 1 plus 1. That is 4. So is left hand side equal to right hand side? No. Therefore x equal to 1 is also not the solution. Now let's try with x is equal to 2. So what do we see? In this case, left hand side is 3 into 2 plus 1. So 3 to the 6 plus 1, that is 7. Is left hand side equal to right hand side? Yes. Therefore x is equal to 2 is a solution for this equation. So x equal to 2 is the solution for this particular equation. Now again, the solution for different equations will definitely be different. Now and this type of method where we keep trying with different values of the variables, that is called trial method. That is, we keep trying, hit and trial method. We take up one value, we try it, we fail, we take up another value, we fail, we again take up another value until and unless we reach to the right value. So this is just to show that there are only certain values for which the equation will be true, for which the LHS will be equal to RHS. Let us take one more example. So let's say now we take a different type of equation. Let's say 1 by 3y plus 3 is equal to 3. So in this case, let's try with y is equal to 0. So when you put y is equal to 0, LHS is equal to 1 by 3 into 0 plus 3, which is equal to 3. So this 3 is equal to RHS. So LHS is equal to RHS. Therefore, y is equal to 0 is the solution for this equation. Let's take one more example. Let us consider this equation 3x minus 1 is equal to 2x. So in this case, you have one variable, that is x, but you have two terms involving this variable, right? So let's see, how do you do this? So again, let's first try with x is equal to 0. So for x is equal to 0, LHS is equal to 3 into 0 minus 1, which is equal to minus 1. And what would be RHS? RHS will be equal to 2 into 0, that is 0. So LHS is minus 1, RHS is 0. So LHS and RHS are not equal, therefore x equal to 0 is not the solution. Now let's try with x equal to 1. So in this case, LHS will be equal to 3 into 1 minus 1, that is equal to 2. And what would be RHS? RHS will be equal to 2 into 1, that is also 2. So LHS is equal to RHS, therefore x is equal to 1 is a solution for this equation. So this is basically what we mean by solution of an equation. Now the question is, how do we solve an equation? Now it is definitely not a nice idea to use this trial method. That is, we keep trying numbers, because it is also possible that for some equation x is equal to 25 is the solution. So do you think it is feasible to keep trying from x equal to 0, then 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on? Definitely not. So there has to be a smarter way to solve equation. So how do we solve equation? Now, just one thing that we need to remember while we try to solve an equation is that whenever you are trying to solve an equation, make sure that the balance of the equation is maintained. Now, what do we mean by balance of an equation? Now, any equation, let's take an example. Let's take this equation as an example. 3x plus 9 is equal to 1. So, let's take this equation as an example. Any equation will have an equal sign, and therefore any equation will have a left hand side and a right hand side. So under any condition, it is very important that the left hand side and the right hand side remain equal. So they need to be equal. Under any situation, this balance should not be disturbed. Now let us say if you have this equation 3x plus 9 is equal to 1, and now we say that we want to solve this equation, we want to find the value of x, but we do not want to follow the hit and trial method. So how do we go about it? Now one approach is, what we do is, for these kind of equations, whenever you perform any kind of operation on one side, do it on the other side as well. For example, in this equation, let's say if we say that let's subtract 9 on both sides. Subtract 9 from both sides. Why from both sides? That's because when you are removing 9 from left hand side, that means the overall value of the left hand side is decreasing. Now if you do not remove 9 from the right hand side, so the right hand side will remain here. So what is happening? The balance is getting disturbed. But do we want to disturb the balance? No. So that's why we will subtract 9 on the right hand side as well. So what do we get? Now plus 9 minus 9, this would become 0. So we are left with 3x on the left hand side. And what do we have on the right hand side? 1 minus 9, that is minus 8. Okay. Now what is our aim? Our aim is to find the value of x. So we just want that somehow we should have only x on the left hand side. Right? In that case we will get the value of x, because x is equal to something. That is what we want. So our problem statement here is, we want to find the value of x. So if somehow we can remove this 3, so how can we get rid of this 3? So for that, again what we do, we divide left hand side by 3. So if you divide left hand side, if you divide 3x by 3, then 3 and 3 will cancel out, so you will be left with x. But if you are dividing left hand side by 3, what are you supposed to do on the right hand side? On the right hand side also you have to divide by 3. Otherwise again the balance will get disturbed, and we do not want to disturb the balance. So divide 3 on both sides. So what happens? When you divide 3 on both sides, it becomes like this. 3x by 3 is equal to minus 8 by 3. So 3 will cancel. So we get x is equal to minus 8 by 3. And what is this? This is the solution of this equation, right? Finding the value of the variable for which this equation will hold true, that is the solution of the equation. Now if you want, you put this value of x in this equation. So put x is equal to minus 8 by 3 in the equation. So what do you get? You get 3 into minus 8 by 3 plus 9. So 3 will cancel. This is minus 8 plus 9, which is equal to 1. So this is the value from the left hand side, and the right hand side is also 1. That means yes, x is equal to minus 8 by 3 is the correct solution. So what we actually did, what is the approach that we followed? The simple approach that we follow is, whatever we do certain operations on both left hand side and right hand side. Why do we do these operations? So that we can get the value of x. So earlier we had 3x plus 9 on the left hand side, and we wanted this to become x. So to get x from that 3x plus 9, we do some operations, we do some subtractions, some divisions, and only then we get x. The only point you need to remember is whatever operation you perform on one side, you need to perform it on the other side also, because at any point in time, left hand side should be equal to right hand side. And when left hand side and right hand side is equal, we say that the equation is balanced. So the balance is maintained. The moment the balance is disturbed, everything becomes incorrect. So with that approach, you will not be able to reach anywhere. So at any point in time, the balance needs to be maintained. So this is the concept, or this is the logic behind solving an equation. Now what we will see is how can we do it in an easier way. We will basically do the same thing, but I'll tell you some shortcut tips by which you can very quickly solve equations, but the concept will remain the same. So let us quickly look at the tips to solve equations. So we will give you 4 simple tips. So let us first talk about tip number 1. Now whenever you transpose plus 9 from left hand side to right hand side or vice versa, it becomes minus 9. So what does that mean? That means something like this. Let's say you have this 3x plus 9 is equal to 1. Now, if you want to take a number from left hand side to right hand side or from right hand side to left hand side, that movement is called transposing. That is taking a number, whether it is a constant or a variable, from one side to the other side of the equation is called transposing. So if you are doing that, what will happen? Any number with a plus sign will become a minus sign. That means if I want to shift 9 to right hand side, what will happen? So 9 will no more be there on left hand side, 9 will come to right hand side, but instead of plus, you will have a minus. That is the only difference. Now why is this happening? This is basically happening because what are we actually doing? We are not making any movements. Basically, this is a shortcut to do the same thing which we did in the previous slide. In the previous slide, I told you, right, that if we subtract minus 9 on both sides, so on the left hand side, we will get 0. So here it is 0, and on the right hand side you will get minus 9. So we are doing the same thing but with an easier approach, because sometimes what happens when you add on both sides or when you multiply on both sides or you divide on both sides, you might make mistakes because that process is little more complicated. But when you are just shifting numbers from one side to another, it becomes simpler. It becomes easier and simpler for you. So the same thing we did, but just that we do it or we think it in a different way. We say that, okay, whenever we move plus 9 from one side to the other side, it becomes minus 9. Perfect. Similarly, if we are transposing a negative number from one side to another, then it becomes a positive number. Now in this case, let's take the previous example only. 3x is equal to 1 minus 9. Let's say if you want to move this 9 from right hand side to left hand side, then what happens? In this case, 3x plus 9 is equal to 1 because 9 is moving to the other side. So minus will become plus. Similarly, if you are transposing into 9 from one side to other, it becomes divided by 9. That means if you have something like this, 3x into 9 is equal to 1. And if you want to move this 9 to the right hand side, then 9 becomes divided by. So it becomes 1 divided by 9. Earlier it was multiplied 9. Now it becomes divided by 9. So this can be written as 1 by 9. So 3x is equal to 1 by 9. In a similar way, if you are transposing divided by 9 from one side to another, it becomes multiplied by 9. Like you have 3x is equal to 1 by 9. So if you want to move this 9 to this side, then it becomes what? It becomes 3x into 9 is equal to 1. So the simple tip that you need to remember is whenever you transpose a number from one side to another, plus sign becomes minus, minus sign becomes plus. Multiplication sign becomes division, division sign becomes multiplication. So that is the simple approach. So now with this approach in mind, we will solve equations step by step. So here we are taking example of very simple equation. So let us try to solve this simple equation, x plus 6 is equal to 2 step by step. So what is going to be our first step? Step number 1. Our aim is to bring all the variables on one side. So let's say that we prefer keeping the variables on the left hand side and we will try to move all the constant values to the right hand side. So if we want to do that, what do we need to do? So the given equation is x plus 6 is equal to 2. So basically we will move 6 to the other side, right? So the moment you move 6 to the other side, what is the next step that you get? The next step you get is x is equal to 2 minus 6, because the moment 6 is shifted this side, plus sign becomes minus. So 2 minus 6 is minus 4. So x is equal to minus 4. That is the solution. So in case of, since this equation was so simple that in the first step itself you could solve it. Perfect. Now let us look at another example. Let's say you have a by 5 is equal to 7 by 15. So in this case also, what is our aim? Our aim is to keep the variables on left hand side. So that means what we want is, we want to move the constant to the right hand side. So constant is 5. So we want to move this 5 to the right hand side. So what will happen to 5? Right now it is divided by 5. So the moment it comes this side, it will become multiplied by 5. So 5 3s are 15. So therefore this side you get 7 by 3. So a is equal to 7 by 3. So pretty simple to solve such equations, right? So only thing is you need to remember, how do you transpose numbers or variables? Whenever you move them from one side to another, make sure that you change their signs appropriately. So based on whatever we have learned so far on solving equations, let us try to solve a few questions. Question number 1. Solve 8y is equal to 36. So in this case also what we do, we keep the variable on this side and we move the constant on the other side. So here it is 8 multiplied by y. So this side it will become divided by 8, right? So this becomes 36 by 8. So 2 4s are 8, 2 18s are 36, 2 2s are 4, 2 9s are 18. So you get y is equal to 9 by 2. So this would be the solution. The next one is z by 3 is equal to 5 by 4. So here also we will try to move 3 to this side. So here it was divided by, so this side it will become multiplied by 3. So this becomes 15 by 4. So z is equal to 15 by 4 would be a solution. 20t is equal to minus 10. So what is the meaning of 20t? It basically means 20 into t. Now when you want to move 20 to right hand side, so it becomes divided by, so it becomes minus 10 divided by 20. So 10 2s are 20. Therefore you can say t is equal to minus 1 by 2. Now, one small thing I would like to mention here is, many a times I have observed students that they use equal sign here. Now, basically when you are dealing with equations, so equations already have an equal to sign. So you should never write equal to here, right? So instead of that, you should use either this symbol or you can write or like this. Otherwise, you can use this symbol, which means this implies to. It means this equation implies to this, again this implies to this. So prefer using this symbol instead of using equal sign. Question number 2. Solve 5m plus 7 is equal to 17. So here also our motto is the same. We want to shift all the constants to the right hand side. So here in the first step what we will do, we will move 7 to right hand side. So this side we will have 5m and this side you will have minus 7. So 17 minus 7. Now 5m is equal to 17 minus 7 is 10. Now in this side you have 5 into m. So let's move 5 to the right hand side. So this becomes 10 by 5. So 5 2s are 10. Therefore m is equal to 2. So this is the solution. So here this equation also let's try to see. 3p divided by 10 is equal to 6. So here first let us try to move this 10 to right hand side. So what will happen? Here it is divided by, so this side it will become multiplied by 10. So therefore you get 3p is equal to 60. Now this 3, the moment you shift it this side, it will become divided by, so it will be 60 divided by 3. So 3 into 20 is 60. So what do you get? You get P is equal to 20 as the solution for this equation. Question number 3. Solve 10p plus 10 is equal to 100. Here also first let's move the constants. So when you move 10 on the right hand side, it becomes 100 minus 10. So you can write it as 10p is equal to 90. Now when you want to shift this 10 to right hand side, what happens? Here it was multiplied by, so this side it will become divided by 10. So 10 nines are 90. Therefore P is equal to 9 is a solution of this equation. Question number 4. Solve 3s plus 12 is equal to 0. So in this case, in the first step, we will move this constant this side. So this becomes 3s is equal to 0 minus 12. And what would be 0 minus 12? 0 minus 12 would be minus 12. Now let's move 3 to right hand side. So therefore this becomes minus 12 divided by 3. So 3 4s are 12. Therefore s is equal to minus 4. Question number 5. 2q minus 6 is equal to 0. Similar, here also first we will move this 6 to right hand side. So this becomes 2q is equal to 0 plus 6. So we can write this as 2q is equal to 6, or we can say q is equal to 6 divided by 2. So 2 3s is 6. Therefore q is equal to 3 is a solution for this equation. Question number 6. Solve 7m plus 19 by 2 is equal to 13. So in this case, we will first shift the constant term, that is 19 by 2. Therefore, this becomes 7m is equal to 13 minus 19 by 2. So let us solve right hand side. So here we will take LCM, which would be 2. So 1 into 2, so 13 into 2 minus 19. So this is how we had learned subtraction of fractions, right? So we already know this. So 7m is equal to 26 minus 19 by 2. Or we can say that 7m is equal to 7 by 2. Now here it is 7 into m. So only m would be equal to 7 into 2 divided by 7. So this is nothing but 7 by 2 into 1 by 7. So 7 and 7 will cancel out. Therefore, m is equal to 1 by 2 is the solution for this equation. Question number 7. 3l by 2 is equal to 2 by 3. So let us first move this constant term to the right hand side. So what will happen? This is divided by 2. That's why when it comes this side, it will become multiplied by 2. So this implies 3l is equal to 4 by 3. Or we can say L is equal to 4 by 3 divided by 3. That is equal to 4 by 3 into 1 by 3. That is equal to 4 by 9. Therefore, L is equal to 4 by 9 is a solution for this equation. Question number 8. 3 minus 2 into 2 minus y is equal to 7. So in this case, which is the term that you will shift the first? That is nothing but this 3. So let us first move 3 to right hand side. So what will happen? It will become minus 2 into 2 minus y is equal to 7 minus 3. So this is nothing but minus 2 into 2 minus y is equal to 4. Right? So now here one very interesting thing that we will observe is the next thing that we are going to shift is this minus 2. Now how is this minus 2 present on the left hand side? Now this is something you need to understand. Now when we say minus 2 into 2 minus y, what does this mean? This basically means that minus 2 is a number which is getting multiplied to 2 minus y. So therefore when this minus 2 shifts to the other side, what is going to happen? It is going to become divided by minus 2. Now many a times students get confused. They feel that okay, this side we have minus 2. So when this term goes to the other side, it will become plus 2. No, that's because whenever transposing is happening, there is reversal of the operation. So if a number is getting added on left hand side, in that case, when it is transposed, the number gets subtracted on the right hand side. Similarly, if a number is getting multiplied on the right hand side, the number will get divided on the left hand side. So that is the tip that we follow. So in this case, this 2 is not getting subtracted from any number. Minus 2 basically is a negative number which is getting multiplied to another number. So basically the operation is multiplication. So this is a number. So minus 2 is a number as a whole, and here minus 2 is getting multiplied. Therefore, the moment it gets shifted to the other side, the number will remain minus 2, but this time it will get divided. So that's one important thing to understand so that you do not get confused. So in this case, we are going to shift minus 2 here. So what will happen? This side will be 2 minus y, and this side it would be 4 divided by minus 2. Now 4 divided by minus 2 is equal to minus 2. So now minus y is equal to minus 2. Now we will also shift this to this side. So this time the 2 is actually getting added to this number. So therefore when it comes to this side, it becomes minus 2. So therefore minus y is equal to minus 4. So both sides you have minus minus, which tells that y is equal to 4. Why did we write like this? That's because if you multiply minus 1 on both sides, what will happen? This side will become y, this side will become 4. So we can say that y is equal to 4 is a solution of this equation. Question number 9. 34 minus 5 into p minus 1 is equal to 4. So in this case also, first of all, we will shift this constant term. So it becomes minus 5 p minus 1 is equal to 4 minus 34. So this can be written as minus 5 into p minus 1 is equal to minus 30. Now this in turn can be written as p minus 1 is equal to minus 30 divided by minus 5. That's because here it was minus 5 into this term. So when minus 5 gets shifted to this side, it becomes divided by. So 5, 6 is a 30, and minus minus gives plus. Therefore, you get p minus 1 is equal to 6. Therefore, p is equal to 6 plus 1, which is equal to 7. Therefore, p is equal to 7 is a solution for this equation. Question number 10. 0 is equal to 16 plus 4 into m minus 6. So here also the same thing, we will have to bring all the variables on one side. So let us try to bring the variables on the left hand side and the constants on the right hand side. So how can we do that? Let's see how do we do that. So for now, let us first shift the constant. So let's bring the constant this side. So this becomes minus 16 is equal to 4 into m minus 6. Now, if you write minus 16 is equal to 4 into m minus 6, if you shift this, if you want, you can write the entire left hand side as right hand side and the entire right hand side as left hand side. Now this you can only do when you are taking the entire left hand side and writing it on the right hand side, and vice versa. So this can be written as 4 into m minus 6 is equal to minus 16 because they mean the same thing. Right, so this from here now we will shift the 4. So this becomes m minus 6 is equal to minus 16 divided by 4. So 4 4s is 16. So we get m minus 6 is equal to minus 4. Or you can say m is equal to minus 4 plus 6, which is equal to 2. Therefore, m is equal to 2 is a solution for this equation.
I hope you found the video useful. Now what are you supposed to do after watching this video? Now you are supposed to practice, because when it comes to maths, you are supposed to practice. So practice more and more questions that will make your concepts even better. And if you feel that after watching this video, your concepts became crystal clear, please do write in the comment section that concepts crystal clear. So I will meet you all very soon with a new video, with a new topic. Till then, stay home, stay safe, take care. Bye-bye.